Okay. Hey, dear friends of Nordics and Nordic friends, good morning to Nordics and good morning to Singapore. Good afternoon to Singapore and Southeast Asia. My name is Sami Jääskeläinen from Nordic Innovation House, and I'll be your host today. So it is my great pleasure to warmly welcome you to our Water, Waste and Food Virtual Market Entry Program in 2021 and our partner session with UNDP Global Center and ADB Ventures. Just a quick recap about the housekeeping matters before we start. Please keep yourself muted when not presenting or asking questions. We do have a time allocated for the Q&A at the end, but if some questions comes to your mind while you are seeing these presentations, feel free to post those questions in the chat and then we will pick the question from there. Please also then remember to indicate whom your question is for. And as always, we are recording this session and we will send them the recording and all the presentation text for all the participants in 24 hours. Good. Very exciting session ahead. We are very delighted to have UNDP and ADB Ventures here with us today. And from UNDP side, we have Callum Hartford, who is the advisor at the digitalization and smart cities. And ADB Ventures is represented today by Jason Lusk, who manages the partnerships and communications. And after UNDP and ADB Ventures presentations, we will then turn the spotlight to our Nordic companies. And they are basically presenting 10 minutes each, 10 companies in 7 minutes each. And then after these presentations, we still have time for the Q&A. So just a quick reminder then for the ADB Ventures and UNDP teams then how to continue the conversation with the companies that if you see, and when you see something interesting today, here's a link for the meeting scheduler and that will be also posted in the chat. And you can conveniently then book a meeting with our Nordic program participants by leaving your details there, and then we will take the conversation from there. And now, without any further ado, I'm going to hand over the stage then to the Jason from ADB Ventures. Jason, over to you.
Okay, thank you. Let me just pull up my slides. Okay, I think everybody can see that. Great. Okay, well, thanks, Sami. Thanks to Nordic Innovation House. Thanks to our partners at the Embassy of Finland and the Nordic Development Fund, and to all the entrepreneurs that joined today. I'd like to introduce you to ADB Ventures with an emphasis on explaining not just what we invest in, because as you may have guessed from our name, we are a venture financing facility, but also on how we can help Nordic companies in the Asia Pacific. So I'll start here. ADB Ventures is the relatively new year-old venture arm of the Asian Development Bank. And Asian Development Bank, which you may or may not know, is a multilateral development bank, much like the World Bank or the African Development Bank or the Inter-American Development Bank. As an institution, it's focused on promoting inclusive prosperity across the Asia Pacific, reducing poverty, and addressing the Sustainable Development Goals. And it does this in a variety of ways, by acting as a knowledge bank for the region, by providing technical assistance, and by making targeted investments in both public sector projects like infrastructure and in the private sector. So the question is, why does a multilateral development bank like ADB have or need a venture arm? Well, the answer is this. We all know that Asia and the Pacific have changed a lot since the 1960s when the Asian Development Bank was established. The region has made tremendous strides in reducing poverty and growing its economies. But as entrepreneurs that are focused on water, waste, and food, I don't think you'll be surprised to learn that the region remains off track to accomplish all of the sustainable development goals, and especially climate. ADB estimates that Asia is going to need to invest $200 billion annually until 2030 related to climate change mitigation and adaptation costs in order to meet the goals. But meanwhile, the world is just brimming with technology, right? Technology innovations that do all kinds of things that can promote the SDGs. And many of these technologies have achieved wide uptake. They've achieved wide uptake in the Nordics, in North America, in many more developed markets and larger markets around the world. But in the developing member countries of ADB, which are emerging markets in the Asia Pacific, that uptake has been constrained. It's been constrained by market expansion risk. You have a choice of markets that you can choose to enter into, and Cambodia, for example, or Bangladesh may not be high on your list. And of course, they're also constrained by a shortage of capital. So ADB Ventures was created to address that challenge. And we do that by making investments and by crowding other investors into climate-focused investments in early stage companies that are making an impact on climate in our region. We hope to catalyze more than $1 billion towards the accomplishment of the Sustainable Development Goals in this way by 2030. Once we invest, there's all sorts of ways that ADB can help. So we're not just an investor. We add a lot of value to the companies that we invest in through our incredible networks across the region, our operations and programs and investments across the region, and through our social safeguards, which are really kind of the gold standard for sustainability in the Asia Pacific. So we consider this why a company would want ADB as an investor in its next round. Few things to note though, while the Asian Development Bank really covers a very wide geography. We cover the entire region from Armenia in the west to Fiji in the east. But we can't do everything at once. So our initial geographic focus is South and Southeast Asia. And within that region, we're focused on certain kinds of impact. We're investing for impact on greenhouse gas mitigation in large emerging markets, including India and China. And we're investing in making communities, economies, and industries more climate adaptive and resilient in the region's smaller, lower and lower middle income markets like Bangladesh, Cambodia, and Vietnam. Now, I don't think any of the entrepreneurs on this call have a substantial presence in South or Southeast Asia yet, but because of your involvement in this program, I think you're interested, very least in Singapore, but hopefully in the larger region as well. So what does all this mean for you? Well, ADB Ventures may invest in companies based outside of the region, including the Nordics, as long as they have operations, traction, and impact in the region. Now, you probably don't yet. Hopefully through this program, you soon will. But in a few minutes, I'm going to share some information about our ADB Ventures Labs platform, which is a very accessible way right now that we can help entrepreneurs like you get a foothold here in the region and prepare yourselves to be attractive for future ADB Ventures investment. Before we get into that, let me explain in a little more detail what we're investing in and how we invest. So critically, we're investing on commercial terms. We invest in innovative companies and leading business models that have great teams, just like any other VC investor. And I think this is important to note because I've just told you a lot about what the Asian development does and how we're promoting sustainable development impact across the region. And you may be tempted to think of us as being impact first, even philanthropic. But that would actually be counterproductive for us, because I mentioned before, we're trying to crowd other investors into the kinds of investments we're making. The only way we can do that is by showing them that they can make a profit off of these investments, commensurate with typical venture capital returns. So it's important that we find those needles in a haystack, those amazing impact investments that are worthwhile on commercial terms. We're not investing in social enterprises. The companies that we invest in do tend to be from 4 verticals. You can see them on screen here. They are clean tech and clean energy, sustainable agriculture and food, inclusive fintech, and inclusive healthcare. So the first 2 categories, or particularly the first, is going to be quite relevant to today's session. We're investing early stage. So ADB Ventures has 3 funds. 2 of these are already operational, and another one we hope to have online next year. The middle column on the slide that I've put up here, our $60 million equity fund, can take equity positions up to $4 million first check. And we typically reserve funds for follow-on investments. We invest indicatively at pre-Series A to Series A with our equity fund. Our seed program in the left column is a companion to our equity fund. It provides grants up to 200,000 US to companies that aren't quite ready yet for investment, but maybe with a little extra runway, should be able to reach that stage within the next year to year and a half. That seed funding carries the condition that we be invited to participate in the company's next fundraising round. We're currently fundraising for a 3rd fund, a $100 million debt fund. The debt fund will be able to invest a little bit later, and will be able to provide additional financing to equity fund investments and other companies such as hardware that might benefit more from debt versus equity. We've not been around that long. I think I referenced that earlier, but put a little context around that. We were authorized by or approved by the ADB board in January of last year. Obviously, last year was kind of a strange year in which to launch, but we hit the ground running. We've now made 3 equity investments. Now, mind you, that's after evaluating more than 900 companies in depth and doing advanced due diligence on about 50. So we do have a wide funnel that results in relatively few high quality investments. So the 3 companies that we've already invested in are a company called Smart Joules, a company called Euler Motors, and a company called Skycatch. And I'm going to share these with you just to give you an illustration of the kinds of companies that we make equity investments in. Smart Joules is energy efficiency as a service. It's a company that's helping Indian hospitals, so primarily in South Asia. So Indian hospitals and commercial buildings reduce their energy consumption without investing in CapEx. So that's Smart Joules. Euler Motors is an electric vehicles company. They're an OEM that makes light commercial vehicles for last mile delivery, for e-commerce and other applications. And Skycatch is a company that uses drones to map infrastructure projects in order to discover opportunities to make them more resource efficient and more resilient. So those are the 3 equity investments we've made. Under our seed program, which I told you again, makes those grants up to $200,000 on convertible terms, we've done more transactions. I'm not going to go into all these in detail. There's more of them, but you can probably see just by skimming them that we're taking a bit more risk with these. They're smaller, they're earlier, there's more variety in them, but they all still have some traction in the region, and they all have potential to turn into equity fund investments later on. Together with the equity fund investments, these should give you an idea of the kinds of tech that interests us and the quality of company that interests us. Now, what do you do if you are too early for any of this? And especially if you're too early because you've just begun exploring opportunities in the Asia Pacific and you just don't have a good beachhead in the region yet. That's where, as I mentioned, our labs platform comes in. ADB Ventures Labs is a platform that helps entrepreneurs like you get connected to customers and to commercial opportunities in the Asia Pacific. And we do this by following a three-step process. First, we work with leading partners like Nordic Innovation House to identify a pool of high-quality technology solutions, high-quality technology entrepreneurs. Then we work with leading corporates to understand their unmet innovation needs, and then map the entrepreneurs that we've identified to those innovation needs. And then finally, we match the two sides together. This leads to pilots, this can lead to commercial relationships, and a better understanding of how you can scale in the region. Of course, it generates deal flow for us by giving us early visibility into those companies that have just begun their scale-up journey. But it also promotes technology transfer from more advanced markets like the Nordics into emerging markets in the region. We do all this through partnerships. So on the right side of this slide, you see a set of partners that we work with to identify those top impact technology entrepreneurs from all over the world. Nordic Innovation House is one of those partners, and I've highlighted it here so you can see how it fits in. That's how we identify our network and database of high quality solutions and high quality entrepreneurs. Then if you turn your attention to the left side of the slide, here are the partners we work with in order to understand the innovation needs of industry and to map those needs back to your solutions and ultimately to match you with commercial opportunities. And it should be abundantly clear looking at this that we're very closely partnered with Plug and Play. Now, Plug and Play, you may know as one of the world's leading early stage investors. They're based in Silicon Valley. They were one of the early investors into PayPal, for example. But 25 years later, they're also a global organization with now 38 offices around the world, including in Singapore, a very strong presence across the Asia Pacific, and a fast-growing emphasis on sustainability and impact. They've also become a leader in corporate innovation. So they run these corporate innovation accelerators all around the world that do exactly this. They map and match startups and innovative technology providers to corporates that need their technology. We're really proud of this partnership, by the way, and it's through our partnership with Plug and Play, as well as with a few other specialty corporate innovation accelerators, that we hope to open a lot of commercial doors for Nordic entrepreneurs like you. I won't spend a lot of time on this slide, but I think this is to take everything I've just presented about our labs and bring it to life a little bit. This is going to give you a snapshot of how our labs platform works across a variety of verticals, and kind of zooming in on plastics and circular economy, which is going to be very relevant to some of you. I've taken this from a showcase event that Plug and Play is hosting in Singapore in early June. And you'll see here a good sample of the kinds of corporates we're working with. Some of the corporate innovation needs that they have, that we've identified under the labs program, and start to think through some of the matching opportunities that this platform provides. So zooming in a little bit on the plastics and circular economy vertical, which will be interesting to some of you, the needs that we've identified are under the headings of zero waste and biomaterials, so new materials, waste collection, sorting and recycling, river pollution prevention, upcycling and re-commerce, carbon marketplace and offsets, sustainable supply chains, and then carbon footprint and traceability. The corporate partner represented by the logo next to those areas is the Alliance to End Plastic Waste. Now that that might not mean anything to you, but it's an interesting organization. So the Alliance to End Plastic Waste is actually an industry association. Specifically, it's a group of 50+ industry leaders in petrochemicals, FMCG, and other relevant categories that have come together to improve the plastics value chain. The corporate members of the Alliance include BASF, Chevron, P&G, PepsiCo, and other companies like that. So you can see how there's a lot of them, and they're highly relevant and quite valuable, I think, to entrepreneurs in this circular economy area. But what we're doing is not restricted to just what's on the slide. These are just the verticals that are represented in that June event. We're doing a lot of work in food and agriculture, for example, with a separate set of partners. This just gives you a flavor. I'll stop there. There's a lot more information about ADB Ventures and how we operate on our website. I encourage you to visit it if you think that there's a potential match. But we will be connecting with a number of you through one-on-one meetings following today's session, and you'll be able to raise more questions then, and we'll explore how we might be able to help you. Thanks very much, and back to you, Sammy.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Jason. Thanks for opening all the different vehicles and providing good concrete examples. All right, let's move forward then. And next, I'm going to hand over the stage then to Callum. He will be presenting then the UNDP Global Center operations and activities here in Singapore, Southeast Asia, and also a little bit beyond. Callum, over to you.
Cool. Thanks, Sammy, and thank you again for inviting us. Hopefully you can see my slides. To give you a bit of context, so UNDP, we are the UN Development Programme. We are active, well, we have offices in about 170 countries and territories around the world. And within the kind of UN system, we tend to be the kind of integrator or connector across the Sustainable Development Goals. So we tend to have a very, very broad focus in each of those countries. We also have a network of what we call global centers. So I lead our work around smart cities and digitalization at the Global Center for Technology, Innovation and Sustainable Development here in Singapore. Although, as Sammy mentioned, actually much of our work is across ASEAN, wider Asia Pacific, Sub-Saharan Africa, and also Latin America as well. So very much looking beyond the region. Our focus is slightly different to ADB in the sense that we don't invest in startups or businesses. But what we do tend to do is, because we're working very closely on the ground with governments, with the private sector, with civil society and others, we can be quite a useful broker to highlight solutions or to make connections to country offices and similar. What I'd like to do quickly is just give an introduction to what we think smart cities are and what they're not, and then also highlight a few things that have come up as we've worked with other corporates in the past that you may want to think about as you explore your work in Singapore, in ASEAN, and beyond as well. So just to start with, what is a smart city? If you Google smart city, as I've done here, you'll find pages after pages of very high-tech cities with big data, laser beams, all this kind of stuff, but often very few people in those pictures. So we're trying to redefine what a smart city looks like and what a smart city is. So for us, a smart city uses technology, and that technology can include things like big data. It can include things like AI, 5G, and so on. But it's also about using innovation as well. And that innovation includes things like nature-based solutions, which we see here in Singapore and many other countries around the world, but also local and indigenous knowledge. And the whole purpose behind this is that a smart city should fundamentally be about shaping an inclusive, sustainable, and livable urban environment. And that's often framed in the context of the Sustainable Development Goals. So in terms of why that definition is important, I've got a few points on the slide here, but I'd particularly like to focus on the latter two. The first is about positioning cities for the 21st century. When we talk to many city leaders, whether it's mayors, officials, those leading major corporates or startups in these environments, they don't even engage with the concept of a smart city because they see it as conceptually and financially unobtainable. They see it as a kind of linear pathway from where they are now to a high-tech city like Singapore at the end point. We see this as a kind of real shame and a real missed opportunity because fundamentally it's about how do we use cities to improve people's lives and their livelihoods and to achieve the SDGs, which is why that broadening definition is so important. The second aspect as well is about making smart cities relevant for every city around the world, particularly when we talk about technology, whether things like AI, big data, 5G or so on. We need to make this a truly global conversation because we cannot have standards developed in the global north that are then foisted on or kind of just implemented on the global south. It very much has to be a kind of ongoing and inclusive dialogue. So I'd just like to quickly walk through a few learnings that we see when we partner with corporates, whether large firms or startups, and everyone in between in the region and beyond, particularly in the context of smart cities and working in the urban environment. The first is the concept of big and lean data. Often when we work with startups and others, there's a big focus on big data. This might be fundamental to your business model. It might be a way that you're adding value in the space, or it may be that how you're kind of engaging with other parts of the ecosystem, particularly things like open data coming out of government. Big data is a huge focus of UNDP. In the region, we actually have a big data lab in the Philippines working on elements like COVID-19 response and recovery, and it very much has important value. What we also see is particularly important, particularly for SMEs, startups, and also bigger firms, is what we call lean data. And this is a concept that was developed by our friends at 60 Decibels, which in turn was a spin out from one of the original kind of patient capital investment funds called the Acumen Fund. Essentially, lean data is about listening to your beneficiaries. It's about going where they are, using tools that they have access to learn more about how they're engaging with your product or your service. This is something we've done a lot of, so it might be using call centers, it might be using SMS, it might be using surveys in the field, but fundamentally it's about spending time learning about what is working and what isn't working. Lean data is also about taking a more kind of portfolio approach and holistic approach to your measurement and about understanding kind of broader metrics of success. And after this, I'll be more than happy to share resources around lean data. And we also ran a webinar last year to kind of support companies and others in exploring lean data in the context of smart cities. Second is the importance of feedback loops. Often when we are working with citizens or consumers, we're doing things like human-centered design and so on. But even that can be quite an extractive process. We're spending time learning about their needs, their realities, and then going away and designing products and services. But often we don't circle back to actually to spend time with the consumer again, or to highlight why their feedback was used, why it was useful, or even why it wasn't used either. So feedback loops are a really important part of our work at UNDP. And wherever possible, when we're working with the private sector, we try to find ways to ensure that we are circling back to beneficiaries, consumers, and citizens to highlight how the service is being relevant and how they can continue to shape it as well. One caution, though, I would add is to be realistic with what you can and can't sustain in the context of feedback loops. So on the slide there is actually a very low resolution diagram from an interactive radio project we ran in a number of countries. And the whole point of this was we worked with the private sector, a number of kind of agricultural providers, producers, to run an interactive radio series where the local farmers could phone into the radio station and record a question that would then be answered live the following week, or would even inform the programming of the following week. So for example, we might have an episode one week that is in collaboration with a pesticide company. So the previous week we would highlight this and ask citizens to kind of phone in with questions. Unfortunately, what happened here was it became almost too popular. So we ended up very quickly with thousands of questions, and each of these questions had to be listened to. They had to be translated sometimes because they were in local dialect. They had to be coded up so we could analyze them as in the kind of entirety. And they also had to then be researched so we could provide an answer or further information or a more detailed program the following week. There was opportunities where we could automate some of this, but in many other cases, it became a huge individual effort requiring a lot of human resource. So just a slight caution that if you are doing feedback loops, to not overpromise like we kind of were at risk of doing in this situation. Thankfully, it only ran for a few weeks, so we could sustain it. But if we're doing it longer, it could have been a bit challenging. Linked to that as well is the concept of what we call collective intelligence. And I'm sure this is a concept that many of you are familiar with. It's everything from Wikipedia all the way through to crowdsourcing innovation through things like innovation challenges. And there's one example on the screen here, which is an innovation challenge we just wrapped up actually, which we ran across 5 cities across sub-Saharan Africa. I think collective intelligence is something that is hugely important and is sometimes forgotten about when you are a startup, an SME, or even a bigger corporate, because it's quite scary to open up your innovation processes for criticism, for engagement, and for collaboration. But we see it as a hugely valuable and really fundamental process of innovation, because it's a really exciting way to avoid things like groupthink, to ensure that you're meeting the needs of your customers, and to also identify new opportunities that you may not have thought about because you haven't had access to different viewpoints. And again, collective intelligence is fundamental to a lot of the work that we do at UNDP, both at the Global Center here and around the world. So we'd be more than happy to share resources on this as well. Just one final concept as well is the importance of kind of building on what works. We've done a lot of work in the past year, particularly in the context of COVID-19, around open source. And open source has been really useful for us because it's meant that governments, companies, and others don't have to start from scratch each time. They can build on best practice, or they can build on existing code, resources, or even hardware that's already out there. Obviously, you're all commercial entities. You're all at very different stages of growth. So I don't think I want to push you in terms of actually open sourcing your kind of fundamental IP or propositions. But what I would encourage you to do is to look at what's actually happening out there already. We actually have a kind of open source digital toolkit on our website, which includes everything from kind of big data platforms through to citizen engagement tools. The really abstract square in the middle is actually the source code from a huge transport experiment that the government here in Singapore ran, where they tried to crowdsource bus routes. It didn't work in Singapore, but it could work elsewhere. But even if it doesn't work elsewhere, there's code there that can be repurposed, borrowed, and implemented in other sources as well. I think also where possible, if you can share what works from your side, the kind of challenges that you've experienced, the lessons that you've learned, either with partners like UNDP, ADB, or others in development, or even with other corporates, I think it can go a very, very long way to ensuring that we're actually meeting the needs of customers around the world, and also, for us anyway, achieving the Sustainable Development Goals. And finally, one interesting insight that I think came from us in the context of COVID-19 echoes where I came in the context of smart cities. So we're based in Singapore. It's a very, very high-tech city, very high-tech country. And they're also one of the first countries to launch a contact tracing solution, an app called Trace Together. And actually, they also open source this so other countries could use the source code, and it's available on our website. But even this very high-tech country, when they launched this solution, highlighted that the role of technology here was not to replace offline public health efforts. It was not to replace human intervention. It was meant to augment and kind of amplify and complement the role of humans in this whole process of response. And I think that's really important when we think about things like smart cities or how we can apply technology and innovation in development, is to understand how technology can be an augmenter or an amplifier to existing efforts, and also to support the work of humans around the world as well. So just a slight caution to you all, try to avoid, I think, being tech driven. A lot of the companies that we have worked with that may not have worked so well was a focus on kind of solutions as opposed to problems. So if you're solution led or tech led, sometimes you can kind of get lost in the technology and end up kind of hollowing out a little bit. This is a very quick insight because we don't have much time here, but more than happy to share resources that we've collated over the past year from working with companies, from startups and others. And also in terms of going forward, we have strong connections to obviously all of our country offices in the region. We're in every lower income market and emerging market in ASEAN. We also have presences in higher income countries in the wider APAC region. So if you are looking to explore opportunities in different markets, we'll be very happy to have a conversation and also connect you to some local stakeholders as well. So thank you.
Great. Thank you so much, Callum. And actually, the companies, we are tipping our toes a little bit on the regional borders as well. So we have a few knowledge sharing sessions next week covering then the Vietnam and Thai market. So we might come back to you with that cash that promise. Good. Okay, I think that next we're gonna give the stage to the companies. And we have grouped the companies in 3 different groups. First group is all about different kind of industrial wastewater solutions. And the second group is more about organic waste. And then the third group, where we have one company, is about very interesting debris waste collection from the rivers and how to build more kind of like financial sustainable community around. But without any further ado, I want to invite Tony currently from DevaCop to start our pitching session. And with that, Tony, over to you.
Thank you, Sami. Okay. My name is Tony Franti from DevaCop Limited. Thank you for this opportunity to present our company and offering. And I'll begin with a short introduction. Clean water is the best for life, but still 80% of all wastewater is completely untreated. Great number of wastewater treatment facilities need to be built, maintained, and updated as a partial solution for this challenge. Good and reliable equipment have a very important role in this, and this is where we can help. Under our Deva brand, we design, manufacture, and sell equipment for sludge thickening, dewatering, and sludge removal. Effective sludge collection and dewatering is important in a fight to stop climate change and destruction of nature. It enables methods to reach sustainability goals and leads to a circular economy by offering alternative source for energy and other uses for the dewatered sludge cake. At least the collected matter is not directly released to the nature. We have 35 years of experience in sludge treatment. We specialize in manufacturing high quality equipment that works as designed and promised, and we also offer supervisioning, installation, and after-sales services. Our equipment are made in Finland, and we operate under ISO 9001 standards. Our operations are based in Finland, but in many locations we are able to support our customers through our partner and reseller network. For sludge and scum collection and removal, we offer chain and flight type chain scraper systems. These are the most sophisticated systems for sludge and scum removal. Our scrapers offer great benefits, optimal and minimum land and space use, high removal efficiency, low capital and maintenance cost, and easy installation. Our superior design and non-metallic Deva components offer top-class features, performance, and durability. These systems can be used in multiple applications such as water and wastewater treatment, oily water, desalination, DAF tanks, sand traps, and grease removal. We offer all possible configurations for rectangular basins from top and bottom scraping to multi-layer systems and supply all the needed accessories for these systems, including scum pipes, beach plates, and system controls. In sludge thickening and dewatering, our solutions are based around belt filter presses and gravity belt thickeners. Belt filter presses offer great advantages such as low energy consumption, suitability for various applications, and relatively high sludge dryness. Total lifetime costs are extremely competitive. Investment, running, and maintenance costs are low, and the presses have a very long lifespan. Reparations are rather easy, cheap, and do not require long standing times. Our portfolio covers solutions from small scale to high capacity municipal and industrial projects, or alternatively from cost-effective solutions to industry-leading features. We supply all the needed accessories for full dewatering cell, including flocculators, polymer units, control systems, and conveyors. We are continuously developing our products. One of our ongoing development projects is to bring cloud-based and AI-assisted monitoring to our systems. This offers various benefits such as decreased power consumption, extended system lifetime, and overall process optimization. Our equipment are trusted and used by municipal and industrial customers worldwide, from small private companies to leading international contractors. Here you can see a few of our partners and customers. Our track record includes over 3,500 chain scraper systems and over 1,000 belt filter presses and gravity belt thickener deliveries to over 80 countries. Next, I will show a few example cases. Langat Centralized Sewage Treatment Plant in Malaysia is a mega project treating wastewaters coming from nearly a million people. For this project, we delivered 96 chain scraper systems and 48 scum pipes. Kamana Sewage Treatment Plant is Maynilad mega project in Philippines that will treat wastewaters from about 1.2 million households. Our full product portfolio will be used in this project for sludge and scum removal and dewatering. I have our biggest and fastest growing market, China, as an example of a specific market area. I've selected Wenzhou Wastewater Treatment Plant as an example case. For this challenging project, we delivered 24 two-layer chain scraper systems that help to solve the challenges with space limitations in a partly underground plant construction. In order to showcase the business opportunities that our equipment offer, I want to mention Atal Engineering. Atal is one of our 6 resellers in China. This huge company is one of the leading Chinese electrical and mechanical engineering groups. They began as our customer in a contractor role as they needed equipment for their own projects. Based on the successful and profitable projects, they have developed DEVA chain scraper systems and related services to be one of their actual business lines, stretching outside the typical contractor role. We know that it takes much more than just good equipment to make the customer happy and reach a successful delivery project. Good products, overall quality, know-how, flexibility, accuracy, honesty, and right attitude are all needed to establish trustworthy partnership. Choose DEVA for smoother projects, better processes, overall cost savings, and cleaner future. We want to find new business opportunities, and we believe that many companies operating in this field can benefit from our offering. We can operate directly with end customers, but typically cooperation is done with contractor. Most importantly, we are looking for resellers to be our local partners. For this, we have great needs in Southeast Asia and in Singapore. That's all I have for you today. Thank you for your time, and please contact us if you find any of this interesting or want to know more. Thank you.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Tony, for the presentation. Seems like we are missing Flutec at the moment, so let's jump in directly to the next company, which is ScanWater, and we have Tao presenting their solution. Tao, over to you.
Thank you, Sammy. Just share my screen. Can you see my screen now?
Yeah, all good. Stage is yours.
Thank you. So good morning and good afternoon. My name is Tao. I'm the sales and marketing director at the Scandinavia Water Technology. So we are a Norwegian company called ScanWater, engineering company dealing with the water business, and a private owned company and based in Norway since 1985. We are part of a Mosselvinje Group. Mosselvinje is owned 100% by the management, established in 1922. We have around 170 employees in Norway, and 100 about that is engineer. So Mosselvinje also owns companies in different locations in Norway, Sweden, Finland, Estonia, Latvia, France, Kenya, and also China. Totally in 15 different locations.
So what ScanWater specialized in providing? We provide different solutions in water solution as turnkey solution project, humanitarian aid, and also municipality preparedness. So today, increasing the urban population impose higher environmental challenges to the modern cities. At the same time, cities must still optimize their well-being and minimize its environmental impact. In many urban areas, sewer systems are overloaded and do not allow for more development. Additionally, through the current handling of organic household and also toilet waste, on the one hand, valuable resources are lost, and on the other hand, stress today's treatment infrastructure, but also, if not treated properly, contribute to the environmental pollution. So ScanWater conduct experiments on the development of the innovative water management solution, Green Energy. Green Energy solution is developed under the CEU Green Project, one of the Horizon 2020 projects, which co-funded from EU and China with total funding of 9 million euro. The principle of resource recovery and safety reuse aim to increase the resilience of the cities, make urban development more climate, environmental, and human friendly with nearly zero emission, circular economic, low climate, and water footprint. Elaborate a little bit into building infrastructure. Green energy will reduce the water consumption by using water-saving fixtures at the vacuum toilet and reuse gray water resource, facilitate the recycling of nutrients to urban and peri-urban agriculture, and thus also eliminate pollutions of surface water. Integrated with a biogas reactor will allow biogas production from the toilet waste and organic household waste, deliver heat and power, but also nutrients to support the greenhouse food production. The innovative element of the green energy is well-being balanced combination of technology and also social innovations that facilitate reduce the water consumption, the minimization of the greenhouse gas emission, the promotion of reusing CO2 and waste-based nutrients in local greenhouse, the production of biogas from the domestic organic waste, the production of the fertilizer from domestic organic waste, and the promotion of ecological sanitation. This is some achievements from the project as an example of resource recovery from the black water. In another beneficial example, by using the vacuum-based technology, the vacuum sewer will much more energy efficient compared to the traditional gravity sewer piping. Will avoid the pumping station, as well as the safety, since the vacuum system is a closed loop system and it will never have any of leakage. So far, we have pilot projects in different locations, 3 in China, 2 projects in Beijing, and 1 in Changsha, as well as 1 in Norway. As the picture shows, the project in Norway, we will convert the old hospital facilities to 1,000 apartments. So through the program, we are looking for the local partners who can develop the technology and also local market together. Thank you.
Very good. Thank you so much, Star. And our next company is coming from Finland. It's called Sophie Filtration, and we have Chandra presenting their solution today.
Thank you, Sami. I'll just share my screen. It's visible, right?
Yes.
Yeah, okay, great. So, hello everyone, my name is Chandra and I'm Technical Marketing Specialist at Sophie Filtration. Sophie Filtration was founded in 2011 and we provide industrial wastewater treatment solutions. So as we all know who are sitting here listening to this, that water scarcity is a global challenge, and with the increasing demand and water supply gap, it is critical to treat wastewater for reuse purposes, not just efficiently, but in a sustainable and in an economical manner. Treating industrial wastewater could be challenging, particularly filtering small colloidal particles, and conventional technologies has their own limitations. The current technologies that are available in the market based on the mechanical self-cleaning filters and which do not go low enough micron ranges. So this is where our expertise, so we treat wastewater and make it and convert it into a useful resource. So we provide economical, sustainable wastewater treatment solutions for heavy industries. This is a picture from the zinc refinery. As you could see in the picture, the water is still cloudy. It means that there are still contaminants in the water, and using our filter, the waste is converted into useful resource for further industrial processes, like you can reuse the water for the further reuse purposes. The technology offers, we have, how we stand out basically in the market is basically that we have three unique features. So first one is the novel cross flow design, which means using the high velocity cross flow, there's a high capacity of water to take inside the filter. And then we use the sustainable mesh wire element, which means we don't need the disposable cartridge filter. The filter is sustainable enough and it can last for over 10 years or so. Then other than that, we also have a higher power ultrasonic feature, which means, which supports our backflush to keep the filter element clean, and that eliminates the clogging and fouling as well. So all in all, the key benefit of our technology is like no manual intervention required, no disposable cartridge filter required, and also no chemical required. So that means like the only thing that run inside the filter is just the water. And we have also integrated IoT capabilities in the system, so for remote monitoring and control. So this is how basically we work with our clients. So first we perform the lab test. The clients are able to send the lab samples in a liquid form or in a solid form, meaning that in a powder form. And we do the lab testing first, and then to understand the need, and then we go for the field pilot test to understand the long-term performance of our system and also better understand the client needs. And then comes the product, which means like we provide the customized solutions based on the need, and also we provide online support and services for after sales. Yeah. So here's basically the layout or the basic architecture, how the remote monitoring and control works basically. So as you can see in the middle, we have the Sophie filter integrated with the IoT, and then also connected to the wastewater treatment plant. And in the remote location, this is very feasible to have this access so that you can have the performance on the screen, no matter offline, no matter where you are located. So this feature is very useful in that context. Our technology is not just environmentally friendly, but also it's very cost efficient, meaning this is the tariffs from the Nordics basically. So for fresh water, we pay €1 per cubic meter, and for the wastewater, we pay €2 per cubic meter. And if using Sophie technology, you are actually able to reduce the cost up to 90%. So this is a case study example that I would like to present. It's a waste to energy plant in Tampere. In this one, oh, sorry. So what the client were basically doing was like before they were discarding the water, but however, due to the stringent environmental regulations, now they need to purify the water. So what they did basically, like using our filter, they reuse that water in their application, which not only was economical, but also very energy efficient. And client was able to improve the energy efficiency by 5 to 10%. And according to them, in this particular case, the payback time was less than 1 year. So basically, these are our prime industrial application in which we operate. So power, mining, chemicals, marine, oil and gas, and steel. I just showed you the example of power. We are very active also in the steel. Currently, we have pilot running in steel industry in Italy. So yeah, we are very active in that at the moment. And this is our team. Here's our CEO, Ville Hakala. He has a vast background in mining and water filtration, and also our R&D director based in North America. He has experience of water treatment industry for over 40 years, and he has previously worked with Dow Chemicals. So we have a team which has their own strength and expertise in their own areas. Quite small team, but we are very dedicated team. And here are clients and partners. So mostly our clients are based in Nordics, but we have also international clients such as Anglo-American. We have been with them since 2014, and we are backed by venture capitalists such as Emerald, Hoima Ventures, and Loudspring. So our upcoming target for Singapore and South Asia is basically, we would like to explore the market opportunities like in a very holistic way, and then narrow it down to a product niche where our product would be more suitable and provide the best benefit for the Singapore market. And then we were also looking for project collaboration. For example, we can be the part of a bigger project. We can collaborate together. And then we are also looking for the system integrators. So here's our office locations. We are based in Espoo, Finland. We have a subsidiary in Houston, Texas. And we also have partners in Europe and also in North America, like Canada, USA, Spain, Poland. Thank you very much for your attention, and looking forward for Q&A.
Very good. Thank you so much, Sandra, for the presentation. And then the last company from our first group comes also from Finland. It's called Valmet, and we have Heli Karaila presenting their solutions. Heli,
okay.
Over to you.
Thank you, Sami. I will share my presentation. One moment. So my name is Heli Karaila, and I'm working as a business manager. And together with my colleagues from Valmet Indonesia office, we are participating to this program. Sorry, there is now some problem with the network. Trying to. I can't change the slide.
If you go to the bottom part, bottom left, you should see.
Okay, now it is changing. Sorry about this. So Valmet is a global technology company. Our head office is in Finland. Last year, the net sales was 3.7 billion euros. There are over 14,000 professionals working globally in Valmet. Wastewater is one of the growth areas for Valmet automation business line. There is lack of accurate and reliable real-time measurements and optimizer application, especially for the wastewater sludge process area. Sludge process area is very difficult for the real-time measurement because there is typically that much air, debris, and grease available. Based on end customer feedback, about 30% of the wastewater plant operational costs are coming from the sludge processing and sludge further treatment costs. And because of a lack of real-time measurement, the process is typically controlled manually based on laboratory analysis and visual look. So there is really need for reliable measurement and control application. Valmet has solutions for this area. So based on the over 50 years measurement technology development, what we have done, especially in the pulp and paper business area, we have nowadays advanced industrial quality real-time measurement technology offering to the wastewater sector. And it is very important we have not only moved those technologies to the wastewater sector, but we have further developed those together with the end customers that they really fit to the wastewater processes. We have over 2,000 real-time measurement references available globally with excellent customer benefits. In order to get full benefit of the advanced real-time measurement, Valmet has developed Valmet's sludge dewatering optimizer application called Valmet SDO, which is specially developed to the centrifuge solutions area. With Valmet DNA automation system, it is possible to automate the whole wastewater process. And Valmet DNA includes process optimization, information management, environmental reporting, as well as condition monitoring. For Valmet, it is important to support end customers via services during the whole life cycle in order the end customers can get the best performance of their processes. Valmet Industrial Internet solutions are a very important part of the offering as well. Valmet solid measurements are specially used at the wastewater plant's sludge process area. And we cover all the sludge process solid measurements in that process area. The Valmet Industrial Internet solutions combine advanced monitoring of the wastewater plant, data-driven optimization, and remote services from Valmet Performance Center into comprehensive solutions. The purpose is to efficiently utilize data and Valmet expertise to provide tangible benefits to our customers. We have documented results available, and here are a couple of those. This case is coming from Finland, Tampere Municipal Vinikanlahti wastewater plant, and in we were able to optimize the dry cake solid was increased over 30%, and in the same time the polymer usage was decreased with 50%. Other cases, this is coming from China. We have nowadays over 200 references available in China, and this is one case from last year where the customer Shanghai Taihe wastewater plant included real-time measurement to their primary sludge process area as well as to the sludge dewatering area, and the target is really to increase the performance of the plant. The third case is coming from the Hong Kong. So this is the world's biggest sludge incineration plant, and there we have had there is a Valmet total solid measurement also available. Here are a couple of statements as a summary, and it is very important that the payback time can be as short as only a couple of months. Singapore is the water hub to the whole Asia area. So in this event, we really want to promote our solutions and benefits of using our solution and get new end customer as well as new business partners contacts in Singapore as well as in the whole Southeast area, Asia. Okay, thank you. And here are our contact information, and looking forward to the detailed one-to-one discussion. Thank you very much.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Heli. And Valmet was the last company from group number 1, so it's time to move then for the organic waste solutions. First company from this group will be Artasfin, and we have Evren in the solution. Evren, over to you.
Thank you, Sami. I'm now sharing my screen. Can you see it?
Yeah, all good. Stage is yours.
Thank you. Hi, I'm Evren Dönmez, CEO of Artasfin, House of State-of-the-Art Solutions in Environmental Technologies. Artasfin R&D expertise is capitalized on 40 years of engineering and manufacturing legacy of Artas sister companies in Finland, Germany, and Turkey. We design, produce, and implement water, waste, air, and bioenergy solutions. We cover all 4 aspects of the environmental technologies. In water, we deliver pre-treatment, filtration, softening, desalination, demineralization, and ultra-pure water treatment plants. In waste, we deliver physical, chemical, biological, either anaerobic, aerobic, attached growth systems, or MBR technology, together with sludge digestion and dewatering plants. Equally, we have flue gas treatment and bioenergy solutions. We designed and supplied over 400 customers. This is one of our client testimonials. To that specific customer, we delivered a customized, tailor-made, fully integrated solution, kind of Lego blocks, targeting their water and organic waste problems. It also gives our customers the comfort of having one sole responsible for all their environmental needs. Our technologies solve problems dealing with access to clean water for drinking in rural and urban settings, water treatment for specific industrial use, wastewater reuse and recycling, wastewater and sludge disposal, organic waste management, waste gas treatment, and renewable energy from waste. We have experience in projects catering for 100 to 100,000 people. Our philosophy is providing integrated, modular, customized solutions operating with renewable energy. We drive change towards circular economy. Our products include ARTO reverse osmosis unit, RF ultrafiltration system, ARMO mobile ultra pure water treatment plant, RPAC activated sludge-based sewage treatment system, RMBR membrane bioreactor-based biological wastewater treatment system integrated with solar panels, KIMPAC chemical wastewater treatment system, RDES chemical and biological desulfurization and flue gas treatment system, ARMUD compact and modular biogas system. As a perfect example to our integrated and holistic approach, this is a 5-star hotel resort where there is limited road access. We developed a fully integrated and standalone solution. We treated the wastewater for recycling, we took the sludge, gardening waste, and together with the biodegradable kitchen waste, we fed them into our compact biogas plant, where we generated biogas. The generated fertilizer at the outlet is completely safe to be used at recreational areas of the hotel. With our RMBR solution, we provide very high quality treated water that can be reused for many purposes. When integrated with solar panels, the system can work as a standalone solution in remote areas. ARMUD is our compact biogas solution that can be used both as a sludge and organic waste digester. It's a perfect solution for decentralized organic waste management. We are currently working on technology development and integration of ARMUD with vertical farming. This is a water desalination and demineralization plant that we delivered to Siemens, where we used our ARTO and ARUF systems. We do have mobile water treatment systems named ARMO. ARMO is ultimately designed as a plug-and-play system. It meets either potable or ultra-pure water needs and can be easily relocated and deployed one location to another. It's a perfect system to meet urgent, unexpected, and instant water demands. We also provided containerized water treatment plants for the International Committee of the Red Cross in order to produce potable water in Yuba, South Sudan. This project has a potable water production capacity of 12,000 cubic meters per day, which meets the demand of 80,000 people living in the region. That's a good example how much we can go beyond expectations with a fully containerized solution. As a stationary and integrated solution, I would like to give you the example of the plant that we delivered to POSCO. We delivered raw water and demineralized water treatment system together with industrial and sewage wastewater treatment system, which was designed with MBR technology. As I'm approaching to the end of my presentation, I would like to highlight this municipal wastewater treatment plant. This plant was designed with fixed film attached growth activated sludge technology. The bacteria grows on the submerged plastic media. With this particular design, we treat the same amount of wastewater in 1/3 of the space needed of a normal activated sludge plant. As a one-shop solution provider, we design, manufacture, implement, and operate fully integrated solutions without any third-party intervention. This is what sets us apart from other solutions in the market. Our edge allowed us to cater diverse portfolio of customers. We have designed and delivered solutions to international companies and NGOs globally. We chose Singapore as a hub to scale up our technologies and operations in Asia. We see promising opportunities in the region. In Singapore, we have already engaged a local representative. We see the future in Asia and would like to partner with prestigious entities both on the public, private, NGO, and venture capitalist space. We are looking for opportunities to deploy our proven containerized and integrated solutions and partner with leading players for stationary solutions in Southeast Asia. We look forward to working with you. Thank you.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Evren.
Thank you, too.
Next, we have two gentlemen who will take over the stage. Two companies providing joint solutions. So I'm going to hand over the stage then to Erik from N2 Applied and Ivar from Reclima.
All right, thank you. And I hope you can see my screen now.
Yep.
My name is Eirik Dahlberg. I'm the head of global sales at N2 Applied, and with me in this program is Ivar Hagemon, the CEO of company Reclima. 30 years from now, we will have a global population of 10 billion people, which means we will need to increase food production by a massive 50% compared to current situation. And we need to do so in a sustainable way, where we are lowering the greenhouse gas emissions and removing pollution, and trying to step away from, or at least not increasing the use of mineral fertilizer. And this we can provide with our bold technology. In Singapore, there is a waste problem that we will address in this presentation. Food waste alone represents 750,000 tons and potentially then able to generate 1.25 terawatts delivered to grid. And we can be part of solving that. Here I'm putting up a slide showing a biogas plant where we will, in the N2 unit, use some of the electricity generated, pulling in air to our unit and splitting the air into nitrogen and oxygen, and then enriching the digestate or the manure with nitrogen, and at the same time stopping emissions. The next slide is showing a field trial from Northern Ireland, where we have installed a unit at the biogas plant that they have on this farm. So we are working both towards farmers in the ag food segment in that vertical, and also to the biogas plant providers, producing this supercharged NEO nitrogen-enriched organic fertilizer. So our main drivers globally is the growing population. It is the mutual targets to reduce emissions globally. And in Singapore, we are looking towards the waste problem there. And over to you, Ivar, at Reklima. Ivar?
Sorry. Thank you, Eric. My name is Ivar Hagman. I'm working in a company called Reklima, which is owned by, among others, two waste companies, main companies in Norway handling waste. The products you see here is made only on production of biogas, making resources for CO2 energy, and the digestate and the fertilizer everything comes out of the biogas production, and we use all there are no fertilizer used outside our own made, and there are no pesticides used for this production. Thank you. Our philosophy or our target is to produce solutions from food to waste to food. And we base everything on handling food waste. Today we handle about 70,000 tons of food waste combined with some manure, and it's representing 20% of Norway's population are involved in our production already. Thank you. The philosophy is to take care of all the resources and handle the food waste in the most sustainable way possible, with no leak of CO2. If we use that for production, we have the biogas for transporting and collecting the waste. We have consumer buying back our products produced in our special made soap green bubble house, which gives us possibilities to seal or close the greenhouse more time than in a traditional construction, which gives us more CO2 catching and better production. Thank you. We have over years developed our own soil or the growing techniques which we have inside the greenhouse, which gives us the possibility to produce a special made soil with worms to stimulate the production. And it actually, after 1 year's production, the soil are in better quality than before we started. So it's actually going the right way. This is an R&D project, which is, this is our pilot, which gives us about 20 tons of tomatoes. And it's the main philosophy is to use bubbles as an insulation and a resistance film for UV. And at the moment, we are processing to maybe upscale one of this production into our plant on 2 hectares. But we are looking both upscaling and downscaling on this one. We see that waste to food, urban growing are coming more and more, and of course in Singapore it is good discussion on that, and we try to be a partner on both big scale, low scale, circular, sustainable production, and of course some of this one are technology, but we try to be low scale cost. Thank you. So what are we looking for here in approaching this project? We are looking for investors to fill upscaling our production. We're looking for distribution for partners in the region, and also access to influencers to actually get in contact with people who want to develop the solutions, and partners in collaboration. We would love to be one of the advisors, partners in establishing a solution like this in your area, Asia. That's all from us. Thank you.
Very good. Thank you so much, Ivar and Erik. Next company is also coming from Norway. It's called Norsk Biogas, and we have Ole presenting the solution. Ole, over to you.
You see my screen?
No.
Sami? You don't?
No, we don't.
Okay. Then I have to do it a little bit different.
All right.
There you are, I guess.
Yeah. Okay. Very good. Stage is yours.
Sorry about that, ladies and gentlemen. Jason and Callum, I start my presentation asking the question, why pre-treatment of food waste? Food waste handling is complicated. It's complicated because it involves several disciplines, technologies, and attitudes. There are four main sources where food waste occurs, all with their distinct differences, both in terms of the composition of the waste itself, but also in terms of internal handling, collection, and logistics in use. This complexity, paired with a partly opposite interest, create an environment where impurities and contamination of the resource always will occur. The end product from pre-treatment of food waste is an energy-rich slurry we normally refer to as substrate. Through the biological process in the digester, biogas and digest is produced. Beside that, impurities in the substrate may cause processual problems. It's degeneration of the digestate that worries the most. Digestate is first-class natural fertilizer where all nutrients are kept intact. It is obvious that a contaminated digestate neither will nor should be accepted in agriculture. Stricter standards are under elaboration, especially focused on problems that arise with micro and nanoplastics. I have been within the recycling industry for more than 2 decades, most of them in the waste to energy sector. During that period, we have seen many different technologies and designs of pre-treatment systems in use. As far as I understand, are the 2 observations and concerns that needs to be addressed in this context. First, most, if not all, systems are different. Second, the content of degradable matter that follow the reject due to insufficient separation in most cases is significant, with a huge impact on one's profit making. It is reasonable to think that there over the years has been a lack of focus on pre-treatment in general, leading to insufficient solutions. However, we observe that industry now has come to terms with that pre-treatment is a bottleneck that must be focused more seriously. In my mind, there is no doubt that it's possible to purify food waste many different ways. The problem is that too many processing steps is investment intensive and drive OPEX high. Simplicity, solidity, and standardization is our way of thinking, and we believe that our system has proven its justification. The BIOCEP has proven its efficiency and sturdiness over more than 10 years in operation. The machine works in a batch-driven process based on a patented centrifuge principle. As you can see from the prestanda, it's a multi-source machine with the capacity to process liquid and solid waste. The machine performs in 3 steps: separation, or segregation as you call it, reject cleaning, collect more digestible, and reject drying, remove liquids and moisture from the reject. Since the separation step do not involve any form of cutting size or size reduction, the amount of microplastics are to a minimum. We strongly believe in standardization. The fact that a fixed process design enables a more scientific approach in regard to development and trim of the system. It enables exchange of data and data mining from all plants in operation, in addition to cooperation and training among operators of the system. The BPP system is fully automated and may be controlled remote. Until now, we have installed 7 pre-treatment systems in Scandinavia, basically to municipal-owned waste facilities. All in all, around 250,000 tons is processed yearly. 3 of our installation are planning for an extension and multiplication of BIOCEPs the coming year to increase throughput. All plants we have are used as showcases and to a certain extent training grounds. I presume you already know the basics about our company. Let me just add a few things. Nordic Biogas was funded solely on the invention of the biocell technology and the bio-pre-plant process design as a specialized company within the pre-treatment of food waste. Last year, however, we decided to involve ourselves developing pre-treatment solutions for other complex waste streams to exploit our competence through access to new technology. Through the cooperation with Polar Metallurgica, we get access to expertise and equipment gear the dry part of the recycling industry. Altogether, this will enable us to develop further and give us direction in the years to come. Except for our home market, Scandinavia, Nordic Biogas aim to play a role in the coming food waste shift within the EU, where more than 47 million tons needs to find its way to the digesters. We believe our technology and way of thinking fits the task in hand perfect. The Southeast Asia region is a matter of cooperation and long-term thinking. The region are in various stages of development in terms of economy, legislations, environmental awareness, etc., etc. In addition, we know from assignments in Bangladesh and Korea that the waste itself is very different from what comes out of the European meal. This calls for local-based partnerships. We strongly believe that the right partner or partners also can play a role in our European and Scandinavian markets, whether we talk about products, service, or competence alone. A slight change in my presentation. Throughout the region, living conditions, economy, geography, legislation set the premise for an efficient approach towards a circular economy and a sustainable living. I believe there are ways to organize public demands, business, and the motivation of the population to participate toward these objectives, but it must be organized under our regional umbrella, our regional network, where multiple disciplines and technologies play together to the benefit of the cause. Yes, it will demand effort from all involved, and it will demand funding in an initial phase. I'm certain that Nordic companies have the competence and technology in the field of recycling that can operate in close collaboration with regional players. I also believe that the development solution and standards can and should be copied into other regions of the world with the same preconditions. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you. Exactly 7 minutes. Well done. All right. Excellent. So let's move forward then. Next company is also coming from Norway. It's called Terra Marine, and we have Thorleif presenting their solution. So Thorleif, with that, over to you.
Yes, hopefully you can see my screen now. So,
yeah, all good.
Good afternoon in Singapore. My name is Thorleif and I'm chairman of Terra Marine, Norwegian company that are working with solutions for recycling of organic waste. There are a lot of technologies for processing organic waste, and the goal is mostly to reduce the disposal costs by stabilizing and minimize the volume. We look upon the organic waste as a resource that should be brought into new production of food. Organic waste is rich in nutrients and it has a high concentration of organic material. And especially the organic material is preferred among farmers in Southeast Asia. We do not see the same interest for organic in the product in the north where we live due to the climate. So from my point of view, incinerating of organic waste should not be a part of our green future. You can say we have multiple solutions, and we think about a wastewater treatment plant, then a lot of the plants, especially in Asia, are delivering the waste not to agriculture, but to landfilling, incineration, or sometimes to industrial use. And our focus is actually to focus on the agriculture and to put it into a new use in food production by mostly producing fertilizer of it. What we do actually in a special case is that we are looking at the waste and evaluate it as a potential product as a fertilizer. That's simple things like heavy metals, bacteria, organic pollutants, and also the potential for the market we see in the nearby region. So, and we are then taking the full responsibility for bringing it out to the farmers for use and then closing the cycle. We also are working with a lot of European companies to deliver technology solutions for that. The sun drying is one. Due to the footprint, I don't think that's so interesting in Singapore, but widely used in countries like Vietnam. We also have low energy drying and pelletizing solutions. But the key here is that for the farmers in Southeast Asia, it is a manual agriculture. It's not like in Europe, industrial one. And then we need to dry and pelletize the products actually to make it used in this region. So we are producing an organic fertilizer that's based on organic waste from biogas plants. We started actually with waste from biosolids, added minerals. And actually that was the first factory in Europe that was producing fertilizer from biosolids. And we developed a wide range of different recipes that are with products that are suitable for different tropical crops. We are also handling from some food processing industries liquid-based fertilizer, so that might also be a potential. The most important is to look at the waste with our eyes that are, you might say, green. We have agronomic and microbiology background, and we look at it with other eyes than those that normally are thinking about processing the waste. We have been attending a lot of, having a lot of testing of these products in Vietnam in the last 7 years since we started there. And we see that our products actually based on the organic waste gives an increase in yield and solve some of the problems we see in Vietnam with salination and that crops are, that soil actually is taken out of production. So our main market is in Vietnam, where we have 2 companies with experts within marketing and logistics and finance and doing a lot of research and development. And we are importing products to Vietnam, to that market today from different countries. Mostly we started with Norway, now we're also into Japan and South Korea and Qatar. And we see also that could be a potential from Singapore. But with increased volume, we are also, of course, going to do something more, do more investment in Vietnam, actually, to be able to handle the big volumes we see in the future. And in that context, a discussion with ADB could be interesting. We, when we're organizing the transport to Vietnam, we are then handling it there. We are processing it further if that is needed. We are repacking it, and we are setting up an organization to deliver it to the customers in Vietnam that are farmers. There are 60 million farmers in Vietnam, so it's a huge people actually that should be trained. And our people are out in the field training the farmers how to use these products. Sorry. So when we speak about why Singapore, it is like in Vietnam, when we are working there, there is an interest from the people there to look at well-developed countries where the product is coming from. So products from Europe and from countries like Singapore has a high value in the market compared with local products. So that's why we think that could we come up with some solutions from Singapore that would have a big advantage in that market. So we are ready to go in dialogue with companies that are looking for better solutions that might be are delivering to incineration today. And then we are evaluating the products and the market potential. We are reducing the disposal cost that is normally high And we offer a zero waste story and full recycling into new production of food. So to say in the end that we are focusing on solutions for owners of organic waste and turn it from being a problem to valuable resources. And we combine our knowledge from waste handling, from agriculture and economy to make a best financial solution for our partners with using the best practicable technology that is available in the market. And we have a long track in Norway with wastewater treatment, especially to commercialize the waste into mineral organic fertilizer from sewage sludge and exporting those products to Asia. And we bring together the best technologies that we know in the market, Norwegian companies, European companies actually, to give the best solutions for our partners and to solve the problem we see.
And Turle, we are running a overtime, so you want to wrap up really quickly. So
yeah, so that's the end of my presentation, I think also. So thanks a lot.
All right, thank you so much. Okay, then last but definitely not least, we have Janne Nuutinen presenting the River Recycle. Janne, over to you.
Thank you. So River Recycle cleans the rivers, recycles the plastic, and provides waste management. My name is Janne Nuutinen, and I'm a CEO of River Recycle. A few words about the problem that we are aiming to solve, and definitely you are familiar with this picture, but it illustrates the problem and from which sources the plastic waste ends up the oceans. About 90% of all the plastic waste that reaches the world's oceans gets flushed through the rivers: littering, wind-blown waste, industrial waste, and municipal waste. Once the plastic gets into the sea, it decomposes very, very slowly. And if current pollution levels continue, plastic will outweigh fish in the future. So who we are? This is our key team, consists of 12 individuals who bring on board significant experience and expertise in their respective fields. The headquarters are based in Helsinki and Singapore. Local operations are managed in India, Indonesia, Thailand, Philippines, Nigeria, and Vietnam by local team members. River Recycle is established September 2019, so we are a startup. The second largest shareholder is Lamor Corporation, also Finnish company, and Lamor is global leader in marine oil spill recovery. Lamor references include the Deepwater Horizon cleanup in the Gulf of Mexico. River Recycle's goal is to stop over 60% of ocean plastic accumulation by establishing 500 river cleaning and plastic recycling points on the banks of the world's most polluting rivers. We have developed a global river cleaning as a free service business model and the system which removes plastic waste from heavily polluted rivers. We clean the rivers of plastic by creating a sustainable circular business that uses the plastic as a raw material. This business model aims to create value for waste in rivers to finance the cleanup. Waste value creation is achieved by using plastics to oil technologies like pyrolysis and selling it as a raw material comparable to the current virgin fossil feedstock. During the dry seasons, additional feedstocks can be sourced from local landfills and or establishing a land-based collection systems. Today, the project development of river recycle covers 9 countries with help of a dedicated team of professionals around the world. Currently in India, River Recycle is installing a project that will clean up the Miti River in central Mumbai. Our team expects to catch up to 50 tons of plastic waste daily and preventing it from flowing into the oceans. We are also building a project in the Citarum River, Indonesia. The Citarum River is one of the most polluted rivers of the planet. This river running through the suburbs and slums of the Jakarta, it's partly covered by plastic layer, and the former fishermen will be turned into waste collectors. This project is expected to retrieve between 70 to 200 tons of plastic waste from this heavily polluted river on a daily basis. So what we are offering to communities in Southeast Asia, we will take care of funding, arrange for the manufacture, transport and installation of the river cleanup unit, arrange for the installation of the pyrolysis unit with the technology providers, arrange for the necessary trainings to operate and maintain the machinery, and of course, handle the sale of pyrolysis oil produced to the off-takers. So what we are looking for? Rivers that often have high volumes of floating plastic, that there's a local interest in the river being cleaner, and additional feedstock, and also local partner. Alternatively, we can implement the project in 2 ways: river cleanup and a pyrolysis, or pyrolysis unit only. We can create the value in circular economy and waste management as well as a field of chemical recycling for Southeast Asian needs. Our team has a high-level expertise related to recycling as well as petrochemical. So we're looking for partners like in with local NGOs, development organizations, and also looking for 3 kinds of funding: project financing, well, up to 25 million US, CSR or donation for river cleaning and a demo pyro project, and equity and quasi-equity funding to speed up the project development and leverage other support. And yes, please visit our impact page. We have an impact calculation over there, and thank you from my part.
Super. Thank you so much, Janne. Okay, so that was 9 Nordic companies covering really interesting solutions from wastewater, organic waste, and river cleaning. Maybe now it's a good time to then hand over the stage back to Jason and Callum on your team. Do you have any questions for our companies? Jason, you are muted.
Sorry, just pulling up some notes. First of all, I want to thank everybody for their presentations. Really interesting stuff. I've been taking notes. I'm going to want to follow up with a few of the companies, and my colleague Yichu Zhang is also on the call. She and I have been sort of messaging back and forth with some things that have caught our attention. Questions. I have so many. I guess you know, I think there were a few companies already have some things going on in Asia. a couple of you actually interestingly in my backyard in Vietnam. ADB is headquartered in Manila. I just happen to be based personally in Vietnam, and take a personal interest in solutions that are here. So those of you who already have a presence in Vietnam are likely to be hearing from me, and there are actually some things I'm already thinking to connect both of you to. I have a question for Dewa, which was the first one that presented. I'm curious what kind of market opportunities you see in Asia, and what are the major obstacles that you'd see yourself needing to overcome in order to expand here?
Thanks for the question. Actually, we are somewhat operating with our international partners, which have quite big projects in Southeast Asia and of course in China area. But what we are actually looking for is a local partners, if they are resellers or just agents or whatever. This is Southeast Asia is a little bit gray area for us. So this program is one that we are checking if we can connect with.
I see, I understand. Thanks for that. Maybe we can follow up a little bit more on that in a separate conversation.
Of course.
Another question for River Recycle, and pardon me if I missed some of this detail towards the end of your presentation. Yichu and I were actually talking about another department of ADB that might be interested in this. I'm curious about the economics of the solution. I think I understand that this is meant to be a self-sustaining solution, so it's free to the countries where it's installed, but the idea is that you monetize based on the plastics that you're able to collect and the recyclable materials you're able to collect from the rivers. But what kind of capital investment are we looking at to install at one site? Do you have a range?
Yes, so if we're doing, let's say, if you're starting from a feasibility study, so then we speaking about, let's say, 250, 350. And when we installing the river cleaning part, it's the cost is like, let's say, up to 1 million. And how we finance the cleanup, so we collecting the waste and processing that through pyrolysis, and then after that we have a, let's say, continuous operation, and we can take care of the funding. So actually the main part is that the more challenging thing is to get the permit,
right,
for the river cleanup. So that's what we have faced. This is a more challenging part.
Sure.
And then we have to have a local partner, and it's can be like an NGO or development organization or local waste management company.
Are you usually working at the country level or at the municipal level?
Well, it's like a municipal level, and there's like in Indonesia, there's a communities. And you know, you have to contact the communities and you know, just find there some people who you're dealing with. And well, in these Asian countries, if he's speaking about the country level, there's no any ministries who's ordering. They might have, like we have in Mumbai, city of Mumbai, we just dealing directly with them. And they have given us a permission to operate, but in it like countries like Indonesia, it's totally different story.
And you're typically looking at communities the size of a Asian megacity like Mumbai, or are you working with smaller cities as well?
We can, yes, like smaller cities as well. Like we have in project in Bangladesh as well, and in one small city.
Interesting. There's a this is just a note, and actually, well, there's an ADB administered facility within our urban development group called Cities Development Initiative for Asia, CDIA.Asia, that funds feasibility studies for projects like this. Might be interesting to get you connected to them, have some discussion.
Yes, yeah, good.
Okay.
Looking forward to
great
one-to-one meeting.
Callum, Michu.
Thanks, Jason. Just to echo, we know CDIA very well and would also very much recommend you having a chat. No questions from my side. You actually picked up two I wanted to pick up here. I would say that those that are focusing on the kind of more circular economy, recycling efforts, I would like to link you to some of our country officers. So I'll follow up by email on that front. But thank you all from my side. It's been a hugely interesting hour or so. So thank you.
Thank you.
Jason, no further questions from my side as well. It's been very interesting learning about the business. I think we will definitely connect with some of the early stage company that's looking for fundraising. And I think my broad question is more on how, like, your go-to-market strategy in Asia. Do you have any partners, or do you plan to set up any subsidiaries? But I think we'll follow up with some when we dive deeper into the companies. Thanks very much.
Okay. Thank you, Jason, Gibson, Colum. We still have a couple of minutes, so if you don't mind, maybe we can take a few questions perhaps from the companies also. So first come, first serve. Who is the fastest? Virtual hands up, please. No questions? Is quite a Riku has a old school virtual hand.
Yeah, I always leave the old hand, the virtual hand there, so that's why it's physical hand. So hey, for ADB Ventures, so this far you have selected a number of companies already for your operations. So what would you say? So most of these companies here are more experienced in selling not for impact purposes, but for revenue and profit purposes. So have you seen successful examples of companies who are more used into revenue and profit type of sales to be successful in a type of operations that you are aiming towards?
Yeah, so first of all, thank you for the question, Riku. It's a point that I made when I was presenting that I may have glossed over a little bit, is that we're really looking for that intersection on the Venn diagram between commercial investability and impact. So our ideal investment is a company that has great unit impact, is reducing hundreds of thousands of tons of greenhouse gases over a 7-year horizon, but at the same time, any venture capitalist would look at this company and say, yeah, the economics look good. This is something that could grow 100x. So in that respect, the fact that you are commercially oriented and focused on selling solutions, not selling impact, is a good thing. By the nature of the business that you're in, you're having impact. So you're right there in the sweet spot of the Venn. I would say that to get the attention of impact investors like ADB Ventures, as well as our co-investors across the region, it's always good to have a good impact story, right? So what is your unit impact on GHG? How are you helping communities become more resilient to the impacts of climate change? You don't need to put a lot of time into this or effort, but just a paragraph somewhere that you can easily sort of rattle off as part of your elevator pitch. This is how we have impact. That's useful to have. It's also part of our role as ADB Ventures when we engage with a company as either a seed investment or an equity fund investment to help you tell that story better and more powerfully.
Great. Thank you, Jason. Ole.
Jason, to you, I guess. I was raising a question in or my last remarks in the presentation. Will there be or are there possibilities to get access to grants if Scandinavian or Nordic companies go together to conquer some of the problems that we know occur in this part of the world? Because why I'm asking is that isolated, okay, I can talk for my own company and say that, okay, pre-treatment of food waste. Obviously, it's important if you are going to collect food waste from in a mandatory from households and businesses in Singapore in 2024. You must do something, but this involves more than pre-treatment. It involves the entire value chain from the actually the legislations that are made throughout the logistics, equipment in use, to anaerobic digestion, to the usage of digestate, or to the exploitation of the biogas produced. And I think that based on experience from the Scandinavian countries, and especially from Norway and Sweden, I think it is very, very beneficial if all disciplines are involved when decisions are to be made to make a sustainable solution for the future. So question is, are there soft money available or grants available for that kind of initiatives?
Let me answer that in two parts. The first part is probably. ADB is a big institution. And so I guess the second part of my answer is ADB Ventures doesn't have that kind of grant funding because we don't intervene at that sort of solving an ecosystem problem level. We're looking at individual commercial investments that can scale across the region rather than looking at a food waste ecosystem in a Singapore or a Bangkok, and how can we take a systems approach to solving it. But ADB Ventures is just a small part of the Asian Development Bank. And there are departments and projects in the Asian Development Bank that are solving problems at that level. One of the things that we've found as ADB Ventures, again, we're a very young facility under the ADB. We've been together as a team for less than 3 years and really operational only for a little more than a year. One of the things we've learned is because we're the Ventures group and therefore are waving around fistfuls of euros, we tend to get attracted to a lot of stuff like this. We get invited to a lot of stuff like this because everybody wants the money guys on the call. And so we encounter these really interesting ideas that we can't fund, but now we've become sort of a clearinghouse for those for the rest of the Asian Development Bank. And we're finding ways to package these ideas up and share them with colleagues. Where they go from there is we don't have a lot of control over, but at least we can get the conversation started. So you did something very effective in your presentation. You called out my name and you called out Callum's name, and you, at the very beginning of your presentation, you said, this is why it's relevant to you. I picked up on that, and it did get my gears spinning on, who within the bank can we connect you up with, who can do more with this than we can.
Yeah. Oh, thank you, and I understand your approach, and you also mentioned that very early in your own presentation. Just if I'm allowed, just to add, not a concern, but more that something we Scandinavian companies must take into account. I deeply believe that business is local, and we can't run an operation out of Norway. We must be present in one way. There is so many differences in a way between the business climate in your part of the world compared to what we experience in Norway. So I think that, at least from out of my perspective, I think that to bundle up with market players in the region will be the easiest way and the right way to address the region. Have you any? Maybe we can take this on our one-to-one conversation later on, but it could be interesting to hear your view on a joint venture company put up between South Asian companies and Scandinavian companies in general.
Yeah, let's have that conversation. We'll schedule a one-on-one with you, and that'd be interesting to explore.
Super. Okay, thank you very much.
Good. All right. Okay, excellent. I think we're a little bit over time, so we have come to an end of our session. And again, massive big thank you for Jason, you too, Callum. Always a pleasure. Thank you for spending your time and partnering with us and meeting the Nordic companies. And we really hope that this is the first step for many upcoming collaboration projects in the future. So thank you everybody for dialing in today. Stay safe and bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you, everybody.
Thanks, Emma.